This is going into salvation, because ultimately that's what we want. We want salvation. We want to be saved from our enemies, because we're here serving slavery, as was prophesied in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. This is Jeremiah 31 and verse 11. It says, "For Yahweh hath redeemed Jacob." Now, who is Jacob? Jacob is representing the Israelites. That's who Jacob's representing, the Israelites. The 12 tribes and the lost tribes that scattered abroad. For Yahweh hath redeemed Jacob. So this is speaking from a past tense, because this word is still going to be standing even after we're delivered, because it's going to be past tense by the time we get delivered. It's going to be just a short smidget of time. We got eternity in front of us. This is just, a little few little days. For reading from top again, Jeremiah 31 and 11. "For Yahweh have redeemed Jacob and ransomed him from the hand of him that was stronger than he. Therefore they shall come and sing in the height of Zion, and shall flow together to the goodness of Yahweh, for wheat and for wine and for oil and for the young of the flock and of the herd, and their soul shall be as a watered garden, and they shall not sorrow any more at all." Once we're saved, we're not going to go off. We're not going to be sorrowed. Why? Because we're not going to sin anymore. We're going to have these new bodies. He's going to put this law inside of us, and we're no longer going to have to teach each other to know the Heavenly Father. And this, jumping over a few verses to verse 31, it says, "Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was an husband unto them, saith Yahweh." Because remember, the laws was written down stone. Now we're going to go a little further. Verse 33, "But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith Yahweh, I will put my law in their inward parts, and write it in their hearts, and will be their God, and they shall be my people." So it's going to be in their inward parts, our inward parts. It's going to be in our inward parts. Inward parts. Because we're going to go real quick. This is real quick. This is 2 Chronicles 23 and verse 16. "And Jehoiada made a covenant between him and between all the people," talking about Israel, "and between the king, that they should be Yahweh's people." Now, when you think about it, that's actually a shame that another covenant would need to be made. Now, covenant was already made during time of Moses. So he's basically he's not making a new covenant. He's basically reminding everybody, basically, to serve God. Do not forsake God. "And Jehoiada made a covenant between him and between all the people, and between the king, that they should be Yahweh's people. Then all the people went to the house of Baal and break it down, and break his altars and his images and the pieces, and slew Batan the priest of Baal before the altars." And so that's when we're in our right mind, we'll be doing that. Cutting down all the idols, putting down all the idols, because we're not supposed to serve any other gods. The Heavenly Father is a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers to the third and the fourth generation. We're not supposed to be, involved in, any adultery. So we're going to have a covenant written within our heart. Within our heart, to the point where we're not going to go off, because it is sin that makes us die. That's why we perish. That's why we pass away, because sin. If we were perfect and never sinned, we would never die. But because we are not perfect, hence why we do die. Reading back over at Jeremiah 31 and 33. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith Yahweh. I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their God, and they shall be my people. If you read Hosea chapter 1 and first chapter, that was when it was told, basically we were not his people, the northern kingdom. They became Gentiles. So we will be his people again. That stick coming back together. Verse 34, and they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know Yahweh, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith Yahweh, for I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more. So we're not going to have to go out on the highways and byways and actually tell brothers, hey, stop sinning, stop smoking weed. It's going to be all up in their heart. That's going to be a law that's, the law is going to be written within us. We're not going to have to worry about, that anymore. Following after the Most High and doing what he said to do is going to be written in our inward parts. And so our salvation is going to consist of us being righteous. Right now, we're rehearsing the righteous acts. You have some people that don't want to get right, who can't get right. They're going to have to come back on the other side. Their head's going to be down for a while. There was some to wake up to everlasting life, some to wake up to everlasting shame and contempt, meaning embarrassed. Embarrassed about what they did, how they lived their life, how they forsook the covenant, how they was a scoffer, how stupid and dumb they were, how they were all into the world, Molly's, the Percocets, and all adultery and all forms of wickedness. Going to have their head down for a very, very long time, because we're not going to be putting Israelites to death, because they're not going to be breaking the law. But we're going to even the least of them are still going to be rich in the kingdom, but not as rich as those who are the elect. The 2/3 of the ones that didn't want to get it, they'll have their riches and everything, but not in comparison to the elect. Because when you think about the 2/3, they very, very, very materialistic. So they long for material things. And here it is, you have a chance to get it and salvation at the same time by being obedient. As the time of Jacob's trouble is very, very near. And I want to end off on that lesson, on that note, and I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Makakodash, double honors to the elders, GMS well, peace, citation, and shalom.